Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have an interesting article and this article comes from the Ukrainian side, probably taken from someone else, but it talks about the possibility of former President Donald Trump being re-elected as the president and the fears of Ukraine if such a thing would occur. And the fears are because the cow will not send milk anymore to whomever. And that is, according to an expert, the United States would stop sending aid to Ukraine if Donald Trump gets elected. Well, let's discuss that because I have doubts that that would be a case. And my doubts are related to previous experience, to patterns. And what I'm talking about, let's read this article first and then we can discuss that thing. So this article, as I said, starts from the New Voice of Ukraine and it's from Monday, March 13th, 2023. All US aid to Ukraine would stop under Trump, political observer says. So let's read and see what point does this guy make. In one of his interviews, Trump made it clear how he was going to negotiate with dictator Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. Wasn't he elected? Isn't he standing elections in 2024? So he's a dictator? Okay. That's because some people just determined that. He wants to cede some Ukraine. He wants to give some Ukrainian territories to Russia, the journalist said. And I'm quoting, "If Donald Trump comes to power, I'm afraid all US aid to Ukraine will stop," end quote. Yakovina, that's a woman right here, said. Okay, let's see Yakovina. What kind of, she's a journalist. Okay, let's see, they say what here? Political observer. All right, political observer, journalist Yakovina. Let's see what you got. European aid, and I'm quoting, is certainly great and good, but it cannot be compared to US aid in terms of quality. Therefore, it will be a million times more difficult for Ukraine to fight back against Russian aggression in this war if Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, end quote. In addition, the political observer suggests that sanctions against Russia will be lifted under Trump's presidency. I don't think so. I don't think that would happen. I think this, let's finish the article and then we can analyze these statements. And I'm quoting, "He refused to impose sanctions in December 2019, Yakovina said. For what? What would he impose sanctions on Russia for? Because of a false allegation? Well, if you think like that, Yakovina, you already are in the negative with me. So anyway, let's quote here, again, Yakovina. Trump then refused to impose the so-called sanctions from hell on Russia, citing nothing. He just refused, and that was it. Okay, based on what? The bill was already in the Senate. Senators were ready to vote for it, and Trump contacted his supporters among the Republicans who had the majority at the time and said, "Do not pass this bill under any circumstances." Okay? What was the reason again? You don't mention it. You just say this based on what? According to Yakovina, it was the Trump administration that gave Putin the opportunity to, and I'm quoting, properly prepare for the full-scale invasion in 2022. Well, can you give me the evidence to support that? I think it was, on the contrary, the United States that gave Ukraine the opportunity to properly prepare from 2015 to 2022. How about that? I mean, and the evidence is, I will cite the former German Chancellor, then Chancellor Merkel, Angela, and then I would also call to the stand and testify Mr. Hollande, right, of France, and then I would Poroshenko, the former president of Ukraine. All these guys said that time of non-implementation of the Minsk agreements 1 and 2, 2014-2015, were meant to help Ukraine arm itself. So, Yakovina, I got the evidence. What's yours? Yours is just a suggestion based on what? You got to bring some evidence when you make a claim, Yakovina. That's how it works in our civilization. What's wrong with you? But anyway, if you ask her about the Greeks, she doesn't know what the hell that is. All right, in an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity, I don't think this is anyway, but Trump claimed that he could stop Russia's war, end quote, against Ukraine by allowing the aggressor state to seize parts of Ukrainian territory that he believes are, and I'm quoting, Russian-speaking. Is that a fact right here? Is that a fact? I would like to know, Yakovina. Is it a fact that over there are some Russian-speaking people in the East Ukraine, the ones that were attacked by tanks from Kiev in 2014 by the what? The guys who overthrew a legitimate government? Yakovina, I know Yakovina is in negative, very bad. She's down there doing what she does best. The extract with these statements by Trump was aired on Fox News after editing, cutting on the phrase about the ability to negotiate with Putin. Well, that's Hannity's decision, and I don't know if Trump had anything to say about it. Earlier, Trump claimed that Ukraine needed to give up Crimea and join NATO to prevent Russia from launching a full-scale invasion. Well, I don't know about joining NATO. I don't think that would be a case, and I don't think that that's, how should I put it? That was one of the 4 reasons why. I know it was the invasion, the attack on Ukraine was unprovoked, but nevertheless, I have to look what the other side of the fight has to say. Because when you show up at the house, let's say as a police officer, and you investigate a domestic incident, you ask both sides. Okay, Gigi, what happened? Okay, Gina, what happened? All right, and then you make a determination and you see if anybody needs to be arrested. For the time, they would be separate, set a safety plan, whatever you do. But you always ask both. If they want to talk, if they don't want to talk, then you make a decision based on the evidence that you had on the scene, right there. You can't wait 5 hours before you make a decision. So same here. If you ask only the Ukrainians or the Americans why the war started, that's one side. I mean, Yakovina, I understand if you're married, that if you have a little quarrel, argument with your husband, I mean, it's he said, I say, somewhere in the middle. You want to understand what the other person's reasons are. And you want to debate them, you want to talk about them. And vice versa. If you just say, no, I'm right, you, then you're not going to be married for a long time unless that guy is a simp. You know, if he's a simp, a beta male, then you got him over there. Yes, I said it. Then yeah, he's going to stay with you over there and he's going to do whatever you say. But that's not what you want, because for you don't want a simp. You want something else. And that something else is not going to be a yes, ma'am guy. So anyway, let's move back to this, leave the family affair and all that personal psychological issues to the side. So let's go here to Yakovina. So if you ask the other side, the Russians said, well, one of the 4 reasons they claim they had to invade, they had to. That's how they say. That's why they say. And if you don't want to get to an understanding, you cannot discuss with anybody anything unless you try to understand their position. So you can negotiate or, okay, let's make, unless you want to just get to fight, which is exactly what I think it happened. Fight had to happen, it happened, and it was unprovoked and all that. So one of the reasons was, you cannot be a NATO country at our border with military infrastructure coming from the United States of America with missiles towards Russia. You cannot. And say, why? It's a free country. Well, I tell you why. Remember when it was the Khrushchev issue, 62, the missile crisis, Cuban Missile Crisis, remember that one? And that was what, how many, 70 miles away, 100 kilometers or something from your territory, and you were crying, you want to start a world war because of that guy bringing something over there that you already had in Turkey and in Italy, the Jupiter missiles, remember that one? And you were, oh my God, we're going to start war because he's doing exactly what I want, what I do. The same here. Well, let's say the Russians bring some nuclear weapons in, I don't know, Nicaragua or Cuba. Do you think Cuba? Do you think or Cuba? Do you think this guy's going to be? It's okay. We do it, so they're okay. There will be a just person, but did they show that kind of trait? I don't think so. So people see that. So yes, Yakovina, you can say whatever you want. The situation is as it is, and unfortunately, we are at war right now. So if he would stop, I don't think Trump will stop. I tell you why. He might say he stops. He might give the order, but I don't think people would listen to him. People that have to listen to him. Remember, the military doesn't really listen to him. Remember last time? If he gets elected. Last time, remember when he said, we're going to withdraw from Syria, get out. Anybody got out? No. Remember when President Obama said in his campaigns, we're going to close Guantanamo Bay. Did it happen when he got president? No. Why? He couldn't. Not that he didn't want to, he could not. There were some people telling him, beat it. And besides, you're like a boss. If you're a boss and nobody listens to you, you can fire him, you hire someone else, they at least don't listen to you. That's how it happened to Trump. He gave this, he gave that, he gave this and gave that, and they're saying FBI, CIA, they were not military, they were not doing what he said. Remember, he said, started an investigation on this, on that. Nothing started. Why? And he changed the director, put another one, the same, oh yeah, we're going to start, President, we're going to start it. Yeah, you're going to be out in what? No time. So even if he wants, people will not, and they will find ways to do it. They will find a little loophole to do under something else. And there were things that probably will be even kept secret from him. How is he going to find out? How is he going to find out? Is someone going to report it? I mean, if you think that things are really working the way they tell us they're working, I mean, go around the block a few times and figure things out. It's not like that. I mean, after all, who protects the president? Who? His brother? His son? What? His mom? His dad? No. Secret Service. Who's in charge of Secret Service? Someone else than Trump. And those guys over there, if Trump says, hey, do this, they can give whatever order they want. You think I'm kidding? We're still the same. We're still the same things. Why do you think Zelensky is surrounded by those guys over there? To protect him? To protect him from saying something stupid. That's what it is. He's going to disappear in no time if he goes off script. Yeah. History is a good teacher. Look in history and see how these kings and queens and they had their mercenary group around them. How did they keep them at bay? With money. But if someone else paid more money, what did they do? Kill the guy. That's what they did. Don't tell me, oh no, here we just a facade. It's the same, we're the same as we were. Animals. That's what we are. We are civilized, supposedly, here and there, but see how civilized we are when we are put in real life situations. We become what we are. The problem is that we are very capable of thinking of many ways to cause harm. The lion or the tiger or the wolf has a few methods, maybe one or two. Just jumps over and that's it. We have many ways. So yeah, when you have the opportunity, you become a tyrant. Not you, because I'm pretty sure you, but I'm talking about the rest of us. I'm not talking about in their name, I'm talking about with whatever, science tells us. And experience. Why do you think there are so many war crimes? It's because those people are just the bad people that commit war crimes? Those are bad people? No, they're humans put in certain kind of circumstances that probably we would have acted the same way because the circumstances dictate your reaction. You're hungry, you're gonna eat. You're afraid, you're gonna react. Right? How? Flight or fight? What do you choose? I think it's gonna think about, Geneva Convention. Let me take the booklet. It says we can't do this, and they shooting at you, and you're with your pants full of peace, and your friends died, and your family was bombarded. You're hungry and you're angry and you're full of hatred. You look at the Geneva Convention because you got a prisoner of war. Do you think that's the way it works? Yeah, it works in the movies with scripts, yes. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.